What's up, homies? It's your boy Cat from the Monkey Making Misplaced channel, back at it again with another deck profile. Today we're going to be profiling one of my personal favorite decks, Diabolos Viamance Bruce. This is the deck that got me into Standard personally, the Bruce Child deck, and I've been loving every form that he's gotten ever since. And Viamance is my personal favorite because I think he's just the fastest among the three. To start off this deck profile, we of course have the classic Diabolos ride line with Matt, Steve, Richard, and of course Bruce. Amazing naming, by the way. His effect, if you don't know, when you ride, you get to call out Soul Charge, and which is really good because it gets you some soul, which you'll see later on we need it. And when you ride on top with him, you get to put this card back, and then draw a card, which is more card advantage. And then Bruce allows you to multi-attack when you're in Final Burst. That only activates when you're on your grade 3 and so is your opponent. And you have a whole board of Diabolos. That allows you to CB1 to restand a whole column and give them each +5. It's amazing. It's just 4 attacks, a lot of pressure, and what you see with some of the cards we play, that restand ability is really good. Going on with the deck profile, we have the rest of the grade 3s. Starting with, of course, 3 more Viamance Bruce, because you want a Persona ride. He is your main grade 3 after all. Then we have 2 Greg. He's personally a card you can cut. I just really like him because he allows you to counter charge for Soul Blast 2. And this Bruce deck, you don't really need the soul. There's like one card that needs it. So occasionally having a a counter charge is really good because people will try to counter blast deny you, and he just allows you to get that. Plus he gets himself +5, making him an 18k base, 28 on Persona ride. Just a pretty decent attacker. Not something you want to rely on, which is why I only played 2. He's just there in case you need him. Moving on, the grade 2s, which is pretty much the more important card of the deck. We have 4 Jamil. We have 4 Eden. And then we have 3 Megans. So what do they serve in this deck? Well, Jamil allows you for 1 CB on a Soul Charge to call out a unit with equal to grade to your Vanguard or less and calls it to the board. That is the only card that cares about the soul in this deck, by the way. And while you're in Final Burst, he gives himself +5 attack and +10 shield. Amazing interceptor, amazing attacker, just an amazing extender. He's honestly a godsend for the deck. I don't think he'd play anything less than 4. He just allows you to make a board, not once per turn, by the way. So if you call 2, you get that effect twice, as long as you have the CB to pay for it. Eden's the boy who cares about the restand, because when you restand him with your Vanguard's ability, he gives himself a crit. Just natural crit pressure. Do keep in mind, though, that the heal will work against him because he gives himself the crit. But it's still just really good to play. Maybe we'll cut him in the future if better support comes out. But at the moment, I'm just really liking that natural crit pressure. I just think he's a major 4F at the moment. And then we have 3 Megans. And she's just short and sweet. She gives herself +10k while you're in Final Rush. 20k base, 30 on Persona ride. Amazing restander because she gets another +5. Nothing much else to say about Megan. If you want, you can maybe bump down one of him for a 4th of her. You can definitely play around the ratios of the deck. That's why I really like this deck. Because I'm also playing 2 Jareds. Now this is a card a lot of people don't play. He is definitely a flex spot after all. But for a CB and an SB, he allows you to give a unit +10. I just really like him because he makes our units bigger, like Eden, Jamil, maybe Megan. Definitely cuttable though. The deck is extremely flexible, which is why this deck is really fun to play. You can mess around with the ratios. I'm currently liking him. He probably will be one of the first ones to get cut though, if we get better support. I've just been liking at the moment as a 2 of. Those are all our grade 2s. Moving on to the grade 1s. We of course have 4 Trish. We have 2 Stephanie, 2 Mabel, and in the mandatory, 4 PG. Now what do these guys do? Well, you all know what the PG does. It just allows you to perfect guard and attack. Not much to say. You might want to replace one of these for the order if you want to make the money on that. Pretty good investment. The Mabel allows to give you your Bruce triple drive, which is really good. I mean, if you hit crits, fronts, heals, hitting a trigger is just really good, and this allowing you to get the extra drive for 1 CB is not a bad deal. Stephanie, on the other hand, for free, gives your Vanguard +5 while you're in Final Rush. which is active during your opponent's turn as well. So it makes your Bruce 18k base, which just makes it a little rougher for them to attack you, makes it easier for you to guard. There are just 2 of those though, because you don't want to see too many. I've personally had really good experience with just 2 of each. But if you want to play more Stephanies, if you want to play more Mabels, if you want to cut them, that's completely up to you. Like if you want to replace maybe some Trishes. I really like Trish because as long as you're in Final Rush, she gets +5 attack and +5 shield. Again, active during your opponent's turn as well, so she is a 10k shield in hand and just a 13k booster or attacker if you need her to be. Overall, a really solid card. She is also a card that's very flexible though, so if you want to cut her for anything else, feel free to do so. Those are all the grade 1s. Trigger lineup. Of course, we have the Dark States OT, one of the best OTs in the game in my opinion. We play 3 draws, 3 fronts, 5 crit, and then of course the 4 heal. If you notice, I did play the Diabolos crit and the Diabolos heal and the Diabolos front. Reason being, you need the Diabolos names if you want to trigger Viamance Bruce's effect. I did leave these 2 in case you want to play any of the effect triggers. These are definitely flex spots. I've just been liking the vanillas at the moment, but this will definitely change depending how the local shapes up now with the new sets coming out. 5 crits, I mean, you have to play something different because you can't play more than the 4, but if you wanted to change this for a front or a draw, that is completely up to you. Fronts are just really good in this deck as well. More power, and this gets more shield as well. And I've been liking draws a little bit because this deck does lack in card advantage. I should be playing the effect draws. I just don't have them on me at the moment. But that would be a definite upgrade for the deck. That's been my Viamance Bruce deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.